So basically, I think I'll just start with a little introductory about myself. I'm 31 years old, and I was 29 when I started the venture to become an entrepreneur. Before that, I was a high school graduate from Henry Street High School in Whitby. And right out of high school, I got a job working for Rogers Cable in Toronto as a technician. So I would go from home to home, fixing and solving your cable problems. Loved the job when I first got it. First couple of years, I saw and met a lot of interesting people. Once I kind of seen everything, been there, done that, the job just was very repetitive. And some of you already may be saying, that's kind of sounds like what I'm doing right now. And that's exactly what was happening to me. I was working with a lot of older guys that had been there for 20, 30 years. And, basically they just dragged their knuckles every day and complained about their job. And I did not want that to become my life. So I decided to myself, what could I do to be happier? And, repeatedly I would be in my truck driving around the city of Toronto and daydreaming about fishing and hunting, the two things that I love to do, and just wanted to be back up in Bobcaygeon. So I put together a little business plan, and with a lot of assistance from the Kawartha Lake Small Business Enterprise Center and the CYBF, it certainly helped me. I'll give you a little bit of detail on how that all came about. Every summer, I would vacation up here at my grandmother and grandfather's house on Pigeon Lake. And as a kid, I would go out fishing every day and, learn new techniques and this and that. Same thing with the hunting. I would go out in the forest and just kind of play in the forest all day. The Kawartha Lakes area really quickly became my home, or felt like my home. And then, when school was back in, I'd have to give my grandparents a hug, and basically my parents would have to pry me from the house because I just didn't want to go back to the city. So thinking about how I could move up here and also be able to afford to live up here and survive, what could I do? The market for hunting accessories and fishing accessories was at high demand in this area because there really was no other businesses that were catering to the outdoorsman. So I thought, how could I start this and really cater to the outdoors enthusiast, men, women, and children? And, ideas on paper quickly became a reality for me when I met up with the Kawartha Lake Small Business Enterprise Center. Diane Stevens and Lori Bell, they were both great at helping me put my ideas together, to write a business plan, and to have it become a success story instead of just another guy that had a dream that failed. I quit my job at Rogers Cable knowing that I would have to put 100% effort into what I was going to do. Otherwise, it would just simply become a hobby or a part-time thing. And, we all know that hobbies and part-time things will never, ever provide for your family and for all your hopes and dreams. So some of the steps that I took to be where I am today was certainly my market research. No matter what your field is or what your ambitions are, I'm using my store as an example because this is what I know. But it certainly would help in any other market. What I did was travel the area. I went beyond Kawartha Lakes. I went up to the Haliburton Highlands and other surrounding areas and visited other tackle stores and other outdoor stores. I met with the owners. I talked with the owners. I did my market research. I found out what products were going to work and really learn my market. There's a lot of people in Bobcaygeon in this area that, everybody wants value, but they don't want to spend a lot of money. And that's hard times, the economy, and I understand that. So finding products that were very good quality, but also at an affordable price was certainly top of my priority list, and is basically how I am able to survive doing what I do. So basically putting everything from paper to reality, you certainly need more help than just yourself. And the Kawartha Lake Small Business Enterprise Center was definitely the help that I needed. I went in, I did a little research on the internet, I found them online, and I went in and I met with Diane right away. And she was great. She laid out basically, gave me ideas, things that I had never even thought of. And this is coming from a lady that, really wasn't into the fishing and hunting, but quickly learned and brainstormed with me what I would need. And funding was probably the biggest thing, because I had all the ideas and all the dreams and all the hopes that one person could possibly ever need. Funding is certainly something that every business needs, and they certainly helped me out. So with the quick online application that I filled out, a couple little meetings, over the course of, I would say, 2.5, maybe 3 month span of working with them on my business proposal and ideas and submitting, it finally came back that I received my loan. And it was great. The money went to great use. It went to help building the store, putting some inventory in the store, etc. To the point now where the loan is now paid back. It's only our first 1.5 years, and it was better than what any bank could ever possibly give you. Once I figured out that this was going to be a success with the CYBF and the Kawartha Lake Small Business Enterprise Center, there was a few other things about it, and the mentorship was very important. I did like the idea that I could pick my own mentor, and it wasn't going to be just some stranger that I had to introduce and then pour my heart out to. Because, let's face it, being your own boss, it's an emotional roller coaster. You get excited, but then you get discouraged. People will bring you down, but remember, if you really do believe in what you are doing is the right thing to do, no one can bring you down. And that's what basically was happening with me. My mentor was another business owner in Bobcaygeon. It wasn't the same business, obviously. He actually owns a restaurant, but he certainly knows that the customer base and how to deal with inventory and the people and etc. So having a few meetings with my mentor, it led to some other ideas that I hadn't thought of. And the problem is, and one of the things that you have to make sure is that you don't grow too fast. That was a big thing for me. I had all these ideas, and eventually the important ideas were starting to be left behind. So I wanted to make sure that I recapped, and I did you have to walk before you run. And I was starting to run a little faster, and my mentor certainly brought me down to reality and calmed me down and got me back grounded where I needed to be. So what I did was I first located a 600 square foot space downtown Bobcaygeon, and I renovated it and tried to make it as cozy as possible and welcoming for all customers. And really geared towards the fishermen, because that was my true love, was the fishing, was the being on the water and the excitement of catching a fish. And, I'm sure some of you in the room right now have caught that big muskie or that big bass, or know somebody and know how happy it makes you when you finally do that. Then I had a lot of guys coming in saying, are you going to get into hunting? Are you going to do some camouflage? Are you going to do guns, ammunition, bows, crossbows, etc.? And I thought, there's a lot of people asking me about this. I should look into this. But certainly the space that I had wasn't going to cater to all of that demand. So I quickly packed up the store, and we moved to our new location where we are now at 38 Taylor Street. And we've doubled our size literally within the first year. It's almost unheard of as a small business. They always say it takes 5 years before you really see growth. I've tripled in sales in the first 2 years. So like I said, I'm very excited about it, and I can't wait to see what else happens for the future. So basically, hopefully after a couple minutes of me rambling on about my success and how I've been able to grow the business, I've been able to answer a couple questions, if not give you a little motivation to why you're here and why you're attending the seminar. Hopefully you've enjoyed the little tour. I know that the other speakers that are here today are certainly have great success stories as well, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to answer any questions while I am probably sipping on a martini right now, sitting at a beach. So bye for now, guys, and I hope to see everybody down at Kawartha Lakes Outdoors in Bobcaygeon on 38 Taylor Street. Thanks, and good luck fishing.